All right, we're back with attorney Justin Irvin from Johnson, Pedrick, and McDonald, answering your questions about wills and estates and power of attorney. This person says, I'm the executor of my mother's will. Where do I get information on what my duties are?
That's a good question. You need to be very careful about that. The courts have some information about that. You might want to visit your local, the estates division of your local clerk of superior court, and they might have some pamphlets or literature that you can read. You can also download that from the administrative office of the court's website. I'm going to say, though, the best way to figure that out is to consult with an attorney, because they can really look at what kind of assets that you have to deal with and who are the people who are the beneficiaries, and give you specific advice for your situation.
All right, this person says, if you had a will made by an agency, do you have to have that registered or filed?
By an agency. I'm not sure what they mean by an agency, but generally speaking, if you make a will in North Carolina, there's no obligation to file it or register it during your lifetime. Your executor will need to take the original of your will to the clerk of superior court after your death to commence the administration of your estate. And some clerks let you deposit your will with them for safekeeping during your lifetime.
Can I will my house if I have an active mortgage?
Yes, you can. The person that receives the house under your will would take it subject to that mortgage, though, so the debt wouldn't go away.
We have a will from Pennsylvania about 10 years ago. Should we have it updated?
Yes, that is a very simple answer. Yes, you should. Since you live here in North Carolina now, you should consult with an attorney in North Carolina to make a new will under North Carolina law, and to make sure that your will still carries out your wishes.
Does a handwritten will count as legal will if I put it together?
Yeah, North Carolina is one of the states that recognizes handwritten wills. That's called a holographic will. In North Carolina, it has to be entirely in your handwriting, and you can put that together and it would be legally recognized. The problems that I see with holographic wills aren't the validity of them, but it's the way that things are worded and phrased in the wills. So yeah, it's a good situation if you need something quick and dirty, but it's always best to work with an attorney just to make sure that you have the language right and use legalese properly.
Well, someone says, I prepared a will from an online source. It's been witnessed by 2 friends and notarized, but since then one friend has moved away, the other one has passed away. Is it still legal?
Yeah, it is, because the law says as long as it's witnessed, then that's the requirement. I'll tell you, the trick to that is that if it doesn't have the proper language, meaning a self-proving affidavit, then the witnesses might need to sign affidavits after your death so that your will can be probated. And if one of them is deceased, then that's a problem. I think it's better for you to see someone about redoing a will.
Okay, this person says, I lost both parents and have an insurance check, but the check is made out to the estate. I have set up the estate with Guilford County. Do I have to set up a bank account for the estate, or can the current bank where my parents banked take this check?
You should not use the bank account that is in your parents' individual name. An estate is a business entity unto itself, and it can have a bank account. And if you've got funds that are payable to the estate, you probably should open a bank account in the name of the estate.
In the name of the estate, okay. This person says, my daughter passed away and I have her vehicle. Can I get her car title in my name?
You can, but you'll probably have to do some sort of documentation and paperwork through the court. You know, there are different ways to handle that, and it's difficult to say which approach is best for you. But you'll need to file something with the court in order to do that. And it's going to depend on if your daughter left behind a will and what the intestacy statutes have to say about her situation, if she was married, if she had children, that sort of thing.
This person says, what happens if you can't afford a will? Is there some place that you can go to?
You know, an attorney is always the best source to make a will, because we're going to sit down and talk with you about your particular situation. Who's in your family, how crazy they are, what kind of assets you have that you want to leave behind for them, and help you to spot problems and plan for those. That said, a holographic will is an option within North Carolina. I've pointed out some problems with that. And you heard another viewer ask about making a will from an online service or from a form. And so I've seen people do that too. I've seen those cause problems as well.
Gotcha. And someone just wanted to know, what is an estimate cost of a will so that they're not blindsided, so that they'll kind of know what they should expect?
Yeah, that's really all over the place. A lot of attorneys do this type of work at their hourly rate, And so I would encourage you to call around and ask different attorneys their hourly rates for this type of work. Some attorneys do this type of work for a flat fee, meaning they'll charge you one price for an entire package. So it's worth asking about that as well. The advantage to working with an attorney is that you're going to get customized documents that are particular to your situation, and that's going to require customized work. And so it's very difficult to give an estimate about that. But when you start working with an attorney, absolutely you should ask what it's going to cost for your situation. But that's just not, it's hard for me to answer that in this environment.
But the easy thing for you to say is ask the attorney. Nobody is like scared to ask that question or answer that question. That is a standard business question.
It's entirely appropriate, and an attorney should not be put off by that question.
Right, and you shouldn't be put off by it either when you ask it, all right? Thank you so much for your time. We so appreciate it. We've got a million more questions, so it looks like we're going to have to do this again so that we can get people answers there. Thank you for sending in your questions. We want you to know that you can find all the information in the Two Wants to Know section of WFNYnews2.com and take a look at that. It answers the question, can you inherit debt, and what is a power of attorney? You can get your questions answered right there.